It was kind of weird because, they were selling drugs in the other corner, like in the other intersection. So I could see everything from my chair.
Yeah.
And I said, do I want to be here my entire life?
Yeah.
And cutting hair, all my friends from 6 or 7 p.m. all the way to midnight. And then the next morning going back to the salon. So I was still doing my clients in my house at a different price.
What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Los Cut It, and you're in the cut with today's guest. But first, my boy Baby Horchata. What up, baby?
Que onda, man. The almighty episode 12, bro.
Damn, this is episode 12, right?
12, bro. That's crazy, man. Coming to think that, it's been an adventure, man. It's been really exciting. And every episode is just, you meet somebody that's in the same industry, but somebody that has their own style. Everybody's unique to their own. And man, these last couple of episodes, you've been presenting them, and I want you to do it because you end up with roses. You do all this, and you present them very well. So I'm gonna throw it back to you, Los.
Well, today's guest is my good friend, who is a guru and has been in the industry damn near almost as long as I've been alive. This guy his work speaks for itself. He's a barber first, and I don't think a lot of people know that. And he's kind of, to me, got more known doing women's hair. He's an educator. He's been an educator for various companies. We currently work both for Babyliss Pro, and one of the nicest guys you can meet. And his work speaks for itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce him to the world, to the barber industry, and to everybody watching, the comedians, everybody supporting you and all of us. My boy Joel Torres, man. What's up, Joel?
What's up? ¿Qué pasa?
Aquí, tranquilo. You made us take a couple of shots, so we hot now. Let me take this sweater
Is
off.
it this hot in Puerto Rico? Porque ahí.
It is.
How you doing, bro? I know we just spent a few hours, all day actually, doing 2 collabs, which I'm so proud of, because to me this is next level, right? Now, for you, what did it mean to you? I'm curious to know.
Yeah. Well, first, thank you so much for the invitation. Super honor to be here. I've been watching a couple of these episodes, and now to be part of it is incredible. So thank you so much for the invitation.
Oh, of course, man.
And for what we did today. I think I had a lot of fun.
Nice.
You know that I'm happy when I start singing and dancing while I'm working.
I never seen that side of you, so I was like, hell yeah. I'm like, you can't be mad, right?
I had such a great time creating with like-minded people, and I love that. So had a great time, and watch you cutting, super cool. Not just doing the barbering part, also doing, that's a surprise. We cannot.
Yeah, we can't talk about it too much. But
But the other part was amazing as well. So I'm super, super happy to do this collab. We've been talking about this for a little bit. So we made it. We made 2.
I was telling them today, in a matter of half a day, we were able to do 2 collaborations, a podcast, and I was able to clean them up. So we were able to get some stuff done today. I think of the years of experience of working and doing this type of things, you learn to work efficiently. And when I collaborated with you, today I actually got to learn how you work. And one of the things that Joel was telling me is that he edits in his head. Now, sometimes I do that. Now, do you know what it means to edit in your head, Ruben?
Already having the vision, right? Pretty much like how you want it. The reason why you do a shot list or anything like that. Is that similar to?
Yeah. So basically, and I was talking to Joel about that. It's usually when you hire a videographer who isn't that experienced, he's pretty much gonna film the entire day. He's gonna hand you a memory card, or he's gonna look over all this footage that got hundreds of clips, hundreds of hours of just everything you did. But when you have the experience and you're able to edit in your head, you know what shots to take. So you're limiting your amounts of clips, which is less work when it comes to editing. And when Joel was working with us, I told him specifically, I'm like, Joel, listen, I know you're at headquarters. I know you're in Chicago. I know you're here at my home to collaborate with me, but I don't want you to come into my world. I want to come into your world. I love your work, your aesthetics. If you guys feel free, check out his page. What is it, Joel Styles?
Joel Torres Styles.
Joel Torres Styles, right? And I'll put the link right here. Check out his page and see how clean and crispy his work is. Now, seeing how he works in person, I could see how he does all that, and he saves so much headache the way he films, because he captures it as he's editing in his head. He tells himself, the people don't need to see this. They don't need to see me blow dry. They don't need to see me part the hair 6 ways. People already know that has to be done, and we don't want to repeat the same steps. So he only captures certain things, and in the end, when it comes to editing, I could only assume it comes easier, right?
Yeah, sometimes I have for an entire haircut only 6 clips.
What?
Shit.
But that comes with experience. Like I made a lot of mistakes, and during the pandemic, I didn't have enough memory, and there was no memory available because everybody was buying, gear for, to work at their houses. So what I did is how I can compact this content so it's gonna be easier for me when I'm editing. So I just do my sectioning, and maybe I'm gonna record the last part of the section. And people already know because they see the sections. I'm only taking one. And then one side of the haircut, I'll do it first. And the other one is basically repetition. So if I take 3 clips or 3 sections in one side, then I do only one in the other because people know what I'm doing. And if it's not clear enough, then I grab my iPad and then I do the sketch, the head sheet, so people know what I'm doing. So it's like try to
Work
make
smarter.
everything easy, not just for me, also for the audience to understand. Because the span of attention right now for everybody is because of TikTok, right? So everybody wants everything fast. So I just adapting my work and getting into I feel comfortable right now recording my own videos and editing because I can do it fast.
Yeah, so you're one of the very few people that I noticed that you do your photography, you do your videography, you understand the equipment, you cut, you're a barber first. And I don't think a lot of people know that you became a barber first and you transitioned into the Cosmo world. Maybe it was the money, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Can you explain that? What made you go from barbering and then just blowing up in the Cosmo world? Because I know, like I tell this to people all the time when I bring your name up to the barbers, a lot of barbers don't know who you are. But anyone that should know, who's deep in the industry, knows who you are. And I think a lot of people just know more of your work rather than your face. So explain that to like, what was it that made you just kind of stop doing the barbering and focus more on the Cosmo? And how did that happen?
Yeah, so I started cutting hair when I was super young, like I was 12.
Okay.
So by the time that I was 17, I was already cutting for 5 years. And I decided to go to barber school. Before that, I went to architecture school, but that didn't work for me. It was a disaster.
Was it the math?
Yeah, so many different
math.
things. So I said, no,
Math is
this is
hard.
not for me, Mom. I think I'm going to barber school. So I finished, and then I finished cosmetology at the same time, dual license, but I was more into men's cutting.
Okay.
But I was cutting in the hood. Like I was in an environment that it was not, I don't want to say like safe, right?
Okay.
And all the type the client that I have, I was like, I'm gonna get in trouble.
And where you from?
Puerto Rico, Carolina, Puerto Rico.
Carolina, Puerto Rico. And what year was this, if you had to drop a year?
Well, I graduated in '93, so that was high school, right? So I'm talking about when I finished school and everything that happened in my life. There's so many, years of different things. I ended up in school like 98, 99. And then I finished around like 2000. So that's why I count, the years of my experience, like since 2000 to 2022. And yeah, just finished first, barbering, my license, work in a barber shop. And then it's like, what if I start working in a salon so then I can get to learn cutting with scissors? That was my weakest part.
Right.
So then I went to the salon. I started as an assistant, and then, after a couple of years, 3 years assisting, they gave me, my station, my seat, my chair, and yeah, I noticed that I was doing like more money than the barbershop,
Wow.
and I was like, the difference by that time. Now things are different,
Right.
but by that time there was a difference on money, right, and how fast I was working a color, highlights, and cut, and how much money I was making versus doing 4 or 5 clients, male clients. And I noticed that for me, it was a lot easier doing women's hair. So right now I have a ratio of maybe 30% men's and then
Wow.
70% women's. But there was a point that I was doing probably like 10% men's
Wow.
and 90% women's.
Wow.
And when the trend started with, the men's grooming, probably like 10 years ago, that's when I started, okay, so let me go back to this. And I have like more male clients now. But yes, I started my career as a barber.
Now I noticed that you worked for various companies. Like I mentioned earlier, you and I work for Babyliss, but you and I got to sit down and talk earlier. what accolades do you have? What credentials do you have? I don't know a lot about you, but I know enough to be like, whoa. Now share that. What was the first company? How did you even get involved? You got involved with certain companies. I know you're representing Babyliss, you're representing Tony and Guy, or you learned from that. How did that go about getting your first company? And now this is a question I wanted to ask you earlier too. The hair shows. You've been doing hair shows for so long. How is that compared to today's hair shows with the barbers? So I'm gonna let you speak on that first. What was the first company you started and how that happened? And then what's the difference in hair shows today?
I think that I can manage to respond to all those questions in one. I went to a competition in New York, right? I was representing the school in my country. So I went to New York, IBS. I think that was 1999.
Sheesh.
And I compete, but I placed probably I think it was fifth, but it was 30 people from around the world.
Wow.
And I was like, but my friend won, first and then second and then third. So I was like, oh, I was close. What if
the same person won first, second, third?
No, in the same crew, the same people, right? So I was like, wow, my friends won first and third, and then me was fifth, and then another friend was sixth. So I was like, if I practice, maybe, because I'm like that, I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna practice.
Yeah.
So I promised myself I'm gonna go back to Puerto Rico and I'm gonna practice for 1 year, and then I'm gonna come back and do it one more time. So 1 year after, I came back. Right? And this time they say, do you want to compete in women's as well? So then you can go for the Cup of New York.
Oh.
So I say, oh, let's do it. So I competed and I placed second in men's, first in women's.
Wow. What'd you do?
It was like a specific gala style.
Okay.
So it was something a little different. And for men's, it was commercial. So I placed second in men's, first in women's. And I was like, what? This is weird, but I like it. So no doubt, the Cup of New York was supposed to be mine in 2000. But they put my last name in different, they use different words or letters. So they didn't count it as a one person. So I won, but they didn't tell me there that I saw somebody else getting in the podium with the Puerto Rican, a different anthem. And I was like, that's my trophy, but I cannot say anything. Because I didn't know English by that time. I didn't know how to protest. So I have to go back home and then send fax to the organization in New York. And they recognized that, you were the winner. We're going to send you the cup to your house. But it still hurts, man.
Hell yeah, it still hurts.
Because I saw somebody else taking, my trophy just because of a mistake. But it gave me, I don't know, after that, I said, you know what? I'm going to continue, right? I'm going to continue to, do competitions and practice. And in that show in New York, I saw different companies working on stage. Vidal Sassoon, Paul Mitchell, Ross, Tony and Guy, TG. And then I saw them. And there was something about when I saw Tony and Guy, TG working on stage that I was like, wow, I want to cut like these people. So I went back to Puerto Rico and I found the distributor for the company. And then I said, hey, I don't have money, but I want to be here and I want to take trainings. I can clean up the room at the end, but I want to be here. And that's how I started.
Nice.
And all because I wanted to cut better with scissors because I was really bad, right? And I took all the trainings and then I started going to Dallas once a year for trainings until they invited me to be part of the team in Latin America. So I started doing education in Spanish. And then at some point I wanted to, challenge myself and say, what if I start teaching in English in the United States? So I started learning English at the same time that I was learning, how to be a platform artist.
Wow.
And that's how I did it. So, and I worked with them 20 years.
You know what's crazy is that I give Papi Blends his props and his flowers because it's hard, man. I like to think I'm a great educator in English. And I could speak fluently in Spanish, but education in Spanish to me is so hard that I kick myself in the head for this all the time because I stay away from it. And not because I'm scared or anything. I just feel like at that point it's like, okay, I'm not really good at that, so let me focus on what I am good at, which is English education, which is learning, which is all this stuff that I'm doing because even though people watching you is very universal and they're gonna learn just by watching you. Me being the person that I am, I hate failing. And this entire week that we've been extremely busy, I got put in situations because I've worked with some of the greatest. I mean, I got to work with Stagel this week, and I worked with Papi. I worked with you. I'm around my team, and I got challenged in so many ways. Now, mind you, everyone always looks at me like I know it all or I'm good at everything I do. But there's times where I get put to the test, and I mean, we did it today, and I'm the same way. Okay, I'm not good at it, but watch. Give me a couple months. I'm gonna practice that. And I've been telling myself, dude, you gotta go to Mexico. All my years of education, I've never been to Mexico and done a proper educational class. And the amount of messages I get from Latino America to be like, yo, come out here, we love you. And I'm just like, I even respond in English. I don't know. I'll see what's good. But this upcoming year, I want to do something big in Mexico. I talked to Benji, I talked to Papi. They all want to do something. Would love to have you if you want to be a part of that. It'd be
come in.
something big because it's an honor for me and a privilege to do something that you are doing, that Papi's doing, that Benji's doing, which is you guys are killing it in Spanish, but you guys are still challenging yourself to come into English education, which is also hard to do. You know, you got guys that speak English that still can't educate in English. And you guys are rocking that too. And I remember in Orlando, we were on the big stage, the main stage. Was it Orlando? Yeah, it was Orlando. It was you, me, Presley, and Stay Gold. And everybody on the sideline was like, you know, we got to get Joel to speak up. He's a very quiet dude, this and this and that. But when we went on, you killed it. You rocked it. You spoke. You did what you had to do. And they caught me off guard because that was the first time I ever went on stage with you. So I didn't know what to expect. I was just going more off how you are, quiet, chill, modest. And when the stage hit, I was just like, oh, damn, Joel, killing it. So that's where I was like, man, props to you because Papi does the same thing. Benji does the same thing. He struggles, but he don't care. He's up there and he's pushing. But as far as the barbering goes, remember I told you, like, how has it changed then? Because you said 99, you were competing. I was 11 years old in 99. I wasn't even cutting hair in 99. And I've been doing this for 24 years. So for you to already be in that world deep in, competing, winning World Cups, how was that environment then? I could only imagine. I could only picture it in my head to what it was the year that you walked into a hair show and then you started seeing barbers pull up. Barbers like me pull up.
Yeah. So back in the days where the education was really serious. And everybody wanted to be part of a company. Mm-hmm. And to gain the right to be on stage mm-hmm. basically it was like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of preparation before you get there. And actually I feel comfortable when I'm on stage talking about a technique. I feel more comfortable like that than having a conversation with another person because I took trainings on how to prep, how to open your statement, how you're gonna close your presentation. That's how I learn English. And when I have a conversation, sometimes I struggle for maybe just one word. I've been doing better, with the times. I've only been in the States 10 years. But back in the days where you have to practice, you have to, have the right to go on stage. But before you're going backstage, you're cleaning, everything. You're right. Cleaning, you're prepping, you're helping your mentors to be on stage. And one day they invite you, hey, do the last segment. And then I remember my first segment was in English, was in Orlando. And they told me, hey, there's a lot of people who speak Spanish, so you're going on stage and you're going to do one in Spanish. And I was like super nervous, but it was in Spanish. And then when I started talking in Spanish, people were like, hey, can you translate in English? I said, oh.
Oh, man. How good was your English at that moment?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Like nothing. Like really
like
bad.
My friend.
Yeah. So, yeah, I struggled, but I managed to do it. And people saw the intention, and they came after, we love the haircut. I was kind of quiet by that time, so I didn't, say it a lot on stage, but I was talking with my hands most of the time. And people loved their work, and then I said, okay, I need to practice. So I went to Puerto Rico. I took only one class in English with one person for 2 hours. And then I started, I had a couple of friends that I met in Orlando. So I said, like, hey, can we call, every week so then we can have conversations so I can practice? So I had a couple of friends that I was practicing with all the time. And yeah, coming back. So back in the days, it was more about education, right? And all the companies were, they were doing a lot of big shows. Now I don't see that because social media changed, right? So people now feel that they have a couple of followers already, and then it's like, I'm ready to, just join, baby, listen. I'm gonna be, I'm an influencer. It's like, it's one thing is an influencing people, and the other thing is educate, right?
Facts.
So you can inspire people by the work that you do. It's beautiful work, but when you educate, you have a big responsibility to share to the new generation what you know, and you have to make it really simple. You have to do this haircut like 500 times. So you can understand from A to Z, Z to A, and I'm gonna explain to you in a way that you can understand. So it's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Now, do you remember the first day you saw a barber team? Because let me say, when I first started like 8 years ago, going to these hair shows, not the barber battles, because barber battles were already going on. You wouldn't catch cosmetologists in barber battles. It was like, just picture a crazy ass club with all men and a few women, but it was just all men, but it was like a brotherhood.
Yeah.
So when I started going into like, I think my first actual real hair show was ABS Chicago. And it was all hairstylists, and in the far back corner where like the light was flickering, they had like a little table. It was just like MLB. Shout out to Joe Flano, who was throwing the only barber event, and that's where all like the further you got there, it got darker, it got more hood. Like you had, like it just felt like it's a straight barber vibe. And then to see where it is now, it's almost like 50-50, right? You got these stages that you got men cutting hair, short hair, all these companies and just taking over. I remember when we started with Babyliss, we only had a corner, one chair, one corner. Some of us didn't even have a mic. It was just cut, show off the tools, and the pro side had this big, amazing stage. And now we go there and it's literally 50-50. We share the same stage with you guys. So I see that. People coming in now probably think it's been like that. So do you remember that transition?
Of course. I remember actually two things that I know that it changed the industry for good. Well, one of the things is the barber battles, right?
Right.
So there was a gathering, people having fun, and there is a lot of people in that industry that started talking about business. So then I saw a shift on the industry, how barbers from $20 to $30 to $40 to $50, and I was like, yes, for my people, because I always consider, all of you my people.
Right.
So I was excited for that. I also I remember the scumbags from Rotterdam,
From who?
From Rotterdam. The barbers from Rotterdam. Amsterdam.
Oh, okay.
I forgot their names, but they have a barber line, and they came up with a collection when nobody was making collections for men's like that.
Wow.
So they came up with a collection, and it was beautiful. Oh, the people from Roussel.
Okay. Yeah.
So those two, they came in a specific time with a different style, because they were more clipper, traditional, but then also scissor and clipper over comb. So the Cosmos started looking at that and said, oh, wait a minute, what's going on? I bought the collection as well because I wanted to know, what's going on here? And then you have Pacino's for another side.
Yeah.
Right?
Pacino's.
And then he did an app, and I was like, oh, it's like right now is the time. So those two things plus the competitions, the barber battles, it's like, this is incredible.
Dude, Pacino was the one, real quick. Pacino was the one that led the way. I remember when he dropped that, it was like, when he dropped the trailer to that first app, it was like a movie trailer. I was like, what? It's an app you can watch and learn how to cut men's hair, because we didn't have that back then. YouTube didn't really have what it has now. He dropped the volume 2, and I was so fortunate to be on volume 3, his final one. He didn't do anything after that. And it was just crazy because the way you felt when you saw that first one, it was a good feeling, like, what? And to be on the third one, that's what inspired me to do my blueprint DVDs and my instructional cutting hair. And it was a big movement. That was literally the shift that made barbering cool, in a sense.
Yeah.
So shout out to Pacino. You have to give that man props.
Yeah.
No, and then tapping back into your roots, you were saying that when you first when you were cutting hair in Puerto Rico, you were kind of in a bad area with.
Oh yes, my grandfather has, he used to work in a barbershop in a project, Manuela Perez, which is one of the.
What is like the crazy experiences what's the crazy experiences you had there?
Well, I've been I remember being in the barbershop, and we always have like drug dealers coming to the barbershop. You have no control over that,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, you still don't today.
Yeah.
Honestly.
No.
But it was kind of weird because they were selling drugs in the other corner, like in the other intersection. So I could see everything from my chair.
Yeah.
And I said, do I want to be here my entire life?
Yeah.
I was shifting. Like I was like, no, it is time for me to step up and do something that I can be safer and
Yeah.
then I can make more money. And that's when I started working in salons.
So when you noticed, like, okay, so even now tapping back in, when you went to cut more women hair and whatnot, did a lot of your prior clients complain that you left them or anything like that?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who, you complain. And probably I quit that barbershop and only one client says, I'm going to get a haircut there. But remember, there was I don't know, probably at the end I was like charging like $12. And then in the salon it was 30. So it was more than double. And my clients by that time, it was like, young people, they didn't have a lot of money. So one of them, he said like, I'm going to get the experience. I'm going to the salon only once. And he said, damn, Joel, can you cut my hair in your house? Because I was doing clients in that salon, like I was assisting.
Yeah.
And then in my house, I was cutting. So coming back to my house and then cutting hair, all my friends from 6 or 7 p.m. all the way to midnight. And then the next morning going back to the salon. So I was still doing my clients in my house at a different price.
Much safer too.
Yeah.
Way safer.
No, but that's dope, man. You're putting in your work. You're clocking in after you clock out. And you stay true to your peoples, and I'm sure they appreciated that.
Yeah.
Now, say you weren't cutting hair whatsoever. Hair for you doesn't exist. What would Joel be pursuing?
Well, I got the opportunity to watch another, episode, and I know that was one of the questions. So, yeah, definitely videography and photography, but that's related to the industry.
That's the
Outside of the industry, I would be more than happy to buy old houses, fix them, and sell them.
Okay, so nothing like mainstream. You just want to be a real estate investor. You want to flip houses. You want to.
Yeah, I will totally do that. I really like right now I'm, putting stuff in my house step by step and, extending the patio and putting a pergola, designing that. I really like it because I said I love architecture and I went to the school.
Yeah.
And I know a lot about Chicago and I took the
tour.
The tour, of course.
So you have to,
and
right?
if you see my Instagram story today, it's all about Frank Lloyd Wright and all the architecture here in Chicago.
I took that tour like 3 times.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing tour. It's a beautiful city. I mean, I live here and I do all that. Now, speaking of videography, a lot of people don't know, Joel Torres was one of the, if not very few people to do videography and photography before it was even a thing on social media. Now, you shared a story with me on you did it, realized that nobody was doing it, and you had all this equipment, all this thing, and you stopped. But there was a turning point that you were like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? Let me pick it back up. Now, like I mentioned, if you follow Joel Torres' page and you see how simple and clean and perfected the color grading, the color, everything about how you upload your images, how you edit is so clean, and I think it's because it's that clean is why it's watchable. I can go on your page and that's not even talking about your haircuts. Your haircuts are phenomenal, all types of haircuts. But to me, it's the content, the way you create it. What was the shifting point? What was it that made you realize, like, once you stopped doing all that, you had all this equipment, you stopped because nobody was doing it. But what was the turning point that made you bring it back to the Instagram world?
Yeah. So for those who follow me on Instagram, or if you don't follow me, then go try to find that picture from 2013. Try to find that picture on my Instagram that I have all my equipment lined up when I was selling it in 2013, and I'll send you a gift.
Rubens, I don't know, but
2013,
I made my Instagram in 2012. So just to give you guys a perspective on that. So 2013, you're selling your equipment, all your equipment. How much was it worth, like total, and why were you selling it?
That time, a couple of thousand by that time. But it took me an entire life to get all of that, right?
Of course.
And I told you the story how I get it, right? So I borrowed money and, I paid that back. Slowly, it took me a couple of years, but there's a point that I was kind of like not using my equipment. So I got Are you really looking?
Yes. I want that gift, whatever it is. We got about 30 more minutes. So.
So I was just working, and doing, just creating content, but Instagram wasn't ready by that time. There was no professional picture. There was not a lot of hairdressers like today that they have gear and that they learn how to do this better. By that time, there was like only me and a few more. And I was like, no, I don't think the Instagram is ready for this. And I put everything on a bag, and then I started selling stuff. I sold a lot of my equipment. I want to say everything that I have that time, except for one lens, I sold it. And then I bought a smaller camera just in case I wanted to make photography. Then I have a smaller camera. So I sold it, and then it was a Canon 5D Mark III. And then I bought a Sony A7 II at that time. And then I said, okay, so I have like less equipment. So now I feel comfortable traveling with it. And I stopped my Instagram, like the content creation, the way that I was doing it, right? So I started, okay, now I'm going to be using more my cell phone and be more organic. And yeah, I worked like that for a couple of years. I want to say like a few years. One day I'm in Instagram checking, scrolling down, and then I saw Sophie Segal. So I have to, say it because probably she doesn't know how important that moment was for me, but it was for me, like super important. I saw one video that she posted, and I know that she was playing with cameras already, right? And I remember a couple of pictures that she was taking selfies with the Leica that she got and all that. I was like, I know that she's into this. But then one day she posted a specific video, and she was cutting her friend. It's an Asian guy, and she was like doing the fade, the most simple video. But the combination of the music and whatever she was doing, it was not even the entire haircut. But when I saw that video, it's like, oh, what is going on here? Something is shifting, like something is changing, because she's making these type of videos and it looks more professional. She was using a professional camera. So I was like, maybe it's time for me to go back to this jam. And that's what the same day, I took my bag, like it was in my closet. So I took the bag, I started charging the batteries, and I said, tomorrow I'm going to do the first video. And then I started, playing, first horizontal, and then getting better and better and better with lights. And then I said, now next, for me to get re-inspired, I need to take trainings. So I went to LA. I was probably like 2017, maybe. 2017, and then another one in 2018. I took trainings with, some of the biggest names in the photography world.
Wow.
And I think I was the only hairdresser there.
Wow.
It was mostly YouTubers, famous YouTubers, taking trainings and talking about cameras. And yeah, that day I felt super inspired. I was super intimidated. I said, like, I don't want any questions. Please don't look at me. I was sitting in the back of the room. But yeah, I was 2-3 days in LA taking trainings, and then I collaborated with a couple of friends and helping photographers, and say, now I feel, comfortable to go back and do this.
Yes.
And that's when I changed my content, and then I got super inspired. So I changed my camera, I bought new lenses, new lights, and that was the beginning of the new content that I have right now.
Well, big shout out to Sophie, man.
Oh, yes.
Being that one thing to show. And it's really beautiful that you're able to break it down to even the client. You said it was an Asian guy she was cutting. It wasn't even the cut. It was the way she shot it. And it's still vivid in your mind.
Beautiful haircut. Like when she cut, it's effortless. Everything is just a soft hand. She does an amazing job. But it was a part of when I saw the image.
Have you told her? Have you told her that video means the world to you?
I told her, but I don't think that she realizes that how
she's humble.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of times, we hear things, and a lot of people don't emphasize on the impact. They just tell you like, oh, I saw your video and you pushed me to get my equipment back, and Sophie's probably like, oh, that's dope. But when you break it down like how you just broke it down and you really get into detail, maybe she doesn't realize. Maybe she might see this clip and be like, whoa,
yeah,
that's dope. Because
I mentioned it to her when we were in Orlando, right?
Okay.
A little bit. But it was more impactful than what I expressed to her, right? And I know that she's kind of shy, so I didn't want it to, make her feel uncomfortable because, you know how it is.
Yeah.
So I just say like something small and short and sweet, but it was very impactful, right? It was like at the right time, at the right moment.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because we were having this conversation earlier, and I was telling him, I'm like, It almost reminds me because he was showing me all his YouTube channels from like 13 years ago, dude. His videos, how he was vlogging, and I was like, dude, I kind of felt the same too because I would go around and vlog like 10 years ago with my GoPro, and nobody even knew what a GoPro was. I remember I would take it to barber battles, and people would be like, "What kind of hell? What
Do
kind
you
of
have
camera?"
do you have that camera still?
No, I wish.
I have my,
Do you?
I have my first GoPro.
Oh, see, I wish. And people will be like, "What kind of cameras?" And I'm like, "A GoPro." They're like, "Go what?" Like literally,
Yeah.
right? Now you talk GoPro, everybody knows what a GoPro is. But because nobody was doing that, blogging as much back then, I kind of just felt like, well, I'm the only one doing this. I'm gonna stop. Let me focus on something else. Now I look back and I'm trying to get there, but it's so saturated. It's hard to make. It's hard to get views. It's hard to do this. And that's kind of how you felt, right? You were like, no one's really doing all this professional stuff. Let me keep it simple the way it's meant to be and move that way. But does it ever make you feel like, man, imagine if I would have just kept going? What if I was a leader in that and just kind of paved the way? Or do you kind of feel like it worked out in your favor because you were able to take training in photography and just kind of get a better, like get inspired by what Sophie did to give you a better vision so what you can do from now on?
Well, I think, I think everything happened for a reason, right? And in my case, I stopped doing that because I was trying to get my position inside of the company. So I focus on, okay, let me grow, let me learn the craft of hairdressing in general.
Right.
I got to do New York Fashion Week like for 10 years. No, not that, probably like 5 years, but I did a lot of Fashion Week, right, with my team. So I was experimenting all the things inside of, the entire industry. So it was good for me to stop. And then also I felt like I didn't want to bring the cameras because my bosses will say something, right? So I said, like, no, let me just behave,
Chill.
and focus on this. But it was necessary for me to focus on learning how to cut better, present better,
Right.
and all that. And then, I took, the equipment back and
And you're a great dude. And you know what? I probably didn't even say it. It's like, dude, it's an honor for me to collaborate with you like that. I just put it on my story. I was like, to collaborate with this man is a literally goal accomplished because since the day I've seen your work, since the day I followed you, since the day I asked a few friends about who you are and what, because there's one of the things that I like to do too is like, if I like your work and I know somebody that knows you, I'll ask. I'm like, yo, is this guy cool? Because if I hear it like, dude, this guy's an asshole or this guy's that, then I don't care. Like, I don't like working with people like that. So when I heard nothing but good things about you, and then the more I saw you working, how good you were, and then we finally got to work on stage and all that, like, I couldn't wait for today. I couldn't wait to collaborate because it was going to bring a lot of new things to me that I'm not used to. And then to share your story, to truly get to know you. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of times we know people. Hey, what's up, bro? What's up? What's up? But you don't know people. So this is why we're here. We're here to get your story. And it's an honor, dude. It's like, it's so dope to have you here because a lot of people don't get it. And what's the saying? Hopefully you can repeat the saying you were saying. You said, this guy's an OG. This guy was doing everything before it was even cool. He was cutting hair before, barbering before it was cool, which is why he, not just cool, but before it was what it is now, that's why he transitioned. Share that saying you were saying. Like,
you said I was saying that.
Yeah, like,
I learned from the OGs, not IG.
Yeah, he learns from the OGs, not IG. And that was based off his method of cutting that people would always try to tell him that he's doing it wrong, but he learned from the OGs with the Vidal Sassoon, the old school people. And now people are just trying to always tweak things out to make it their own.
Yeah.
But you still have your own way of doing things. And because of that, because someone like myself who I feel like I'm all in this game, I can look at you and call you a GOAT. You know what I mean? Which is why we have a little gift for you. And for those of you guys that don't know, we say this every episode. This and every episode is sponsored by Babyliss. So make sure you guys, like, subscribe, comment below. But we give gifts to all our guests. So this is a gift to you, man, from me and from Babyliss.
Finally, I got my GOAT.
You're a GOAT, man. And I know I already broke down what the GOAT represents, and I think that's what you represent, man. You're the greatest person you can be.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Thank
and
you.
for you to
Appreciate
be that many years in the game, and then we obviously got the lowest cutted clipper.
You have
You're
to sign
very
it.
oh, my pleasure.
Yeah.
You are the GOAT, man, because dude, your content is amazing, your work is amazing, your work ethic is amazing, your stage performance is amazing, both in Spanish, both in English. You're a friendly dude. For somebody to go through all the stuff you've been through, even when I was a little 10-year-old kid, for you to still be doing that and then be in my table today, breaking bread with us and talking to us. Like, that's how deep I look into things, man. And it's so dope to have you here. This is why that's the least I can do, man.
Thank you. I appreciate. And my beer, it looks perfect, man.
No, I had I had to clean you up, man. Something, but
You know what? So I'm honored to be here. I said that before, but I feel great. You know, I like to collaborate with people all the time. You know, this you give me a lot of energy, right? And we've been talking for the last couple of days a lot. So I'm super inspired to go back to Dallas, even though that I have a little, experience and I've been in the industry for, longer. But I always try to be as humble as I can. I go to the room quiet. You see, when we were going to stage and people was like, "You always a little quiet." And I was like, "I'm not
wait
quiet."
till that bell rings.
It's like,
Ding, ding, ding.
It's okay. I know that sometimes I'm quiet. If the conversation is super fast and me trying to understand what you're saying and translating in my head, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be shy on stage and be quiet, right? So when we started the segment, then that's what I've been doing it for so long that I feel comfortable on stage doing, the show. But I don't come like that, "Hey, this is me. I've been working so long," and don't talk about my accolades. I feel actually really weird when people ask me for, can you tell me a little bit of, I say just maybe 5% of what I've done because it's a lot, but also I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable, right? That's the way that, I was raised.
It's
you
the way
talk a
society is too.
I try to say just a little bit and that's it, But when you start talking about all the things that you've been doing, like a lot, I feel uncomfortable.
Oh, what's understood don't need to be explained, bro. Like when I don't have to, especially with Lowe's, man. Like you guys are humble, period, right? And y'all have won y'all have won contests, y'all have won what y'all have wanted to win before. If you see that belt over there, see Lowe's is the undisputed champ of the world. He beat The Rock at WrestleMania, but you don't gotta be like, hey, I do this. Your work speaks for itself. If you go on your Instagram, you see how immaculate your haircuts are, your content is. It'd be ignorant to say, man, I bet he ain't wearing an award. Like
That's true for most, right? Because I get it. I don't ever talk about unless I'm asked. And if I'm asked, I keep it short and simple. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you how I made this DVD, that video, or how I made. No, it's too much of even me to talk about. But I think it's also important to realize that who you share that information with. If I ask you and you share that with me, all you're gonna do is make me be like, wow, like that's what I want to do. That's inspiration. Damn, you did with this company. Damn, you did that. I look at it like that. Whereas most people can look at it like, oh, this guy thinks he's better than me, or this guy is just showing off. Everything you do, even like when we were eating earlier and we had the conversation, and everything you were sharing with me that I was just getting to learn, I was just like, we were talking about how back then hairdressers were like getting pennies to work, sometimes volunteering for free to be backstage 5 a.m, and how all of a sudden it's changed now. Now people are barbers, influencers. They're looked at different. Now they're the prize. Now they're getting paid more. And someone like me that came into that era of, I know my worth, so I need this much because I know what I can do and all that. Being that I could hear you and your story and all your accomplishments, and I get inspired by that because you were doing that before we were all getting paid. You guys were getting, like, I'm sure, were you getting a lot of money back then?
No.
What were you getting? What if you're comfortable throwing there?
When I first moved to the States, I want to say, the day rate was me because I was coming from Latin America, right? So
Is that good or bad?
It was like $200 a day.
Oh, shit.
Right? But I used to make...
Ruben's like, that's good.
Hey, look, I make that in 5 shows, bro. So let me get that.
No, go ahead.
but it was like, long time ago, and it was only like $200 a day under, right? But in the salon, you were making a lot more.
Right.
So that's why whoever wanted to be an educator back then, they really wanted to be an educator because that you were sacrificing making 3 times that.
Hell yeah.
Making a lot less and then travel and then go back to the salon and try to work and catch up with all the clients that they were waiting for you. So back then, you really wanted to be in an education team because you were getting re-inspired. You were learning new techniques. You were learning new collections. And it was like that. Now with the influencers and all that, everything changed for good and for bad.
True.
I'm going to talk about what is the good part. Some of these influencers, they never worked in a company before. So when they were asking, hey, how much is your day rate? They were like, yeah, $1,000
a day.
a day. And the company was like, okay, that's, we have to pay them that. So then that's when everything changed with the education and then working with influencers.
Mm-hmm.
And I got like super inspired by that one. It's like, wow, wait a minute. I'm here in the education department, but I see influencers making that. So how I can step up my game, learn more, and then in the future say, no, now you're going to pay me as an educator with all my experience that I have, but also as a content creator. I'm doing my videos. I have my gear. I'm editing. If you want something like that, you have to hire somebody from outside.
Yeah.
And it's going to, one collection is going to be $100,000 or $50,000.
Yeah, a lot of money.
I'm making a couple of videos for you on social media. They're getting reposted. Nothing on YouTube was getting reposted, but everything on Instagram was reposted all the time for other, pages. So it's like, I'm giving you a lot of content for my money. So now I want to make this.
Yeah.
So I got inspiration from the new generation of, influencers. And it's like, this is what I'm going to do from now on. So that's why it doesn't matter how much experience you have. You can never look on your shoulder for the new generation and what they're doing, or Cosmos to Barber or vice versa. No, I've always been looking back and saying, where I can get that inspiration from, because you never know. So I got super inspired by all of you. And I say, this is what I want from now on. And thanks to those people who changed the game.
No, and that's good, man, because a lot of OGs do look at the new generation like,
Yeah.
I don't want to, And so being who you are, and you're still open-minded, you want to learn from what's next, and you want to keep learning. And every episode lately, we've been talking about this, always be a student.
Yeah.
Never, you don't know everything,
Be a student of change.
Yeah. We were talking about that. Like, a lot of people don't want to grow. It's simply because they either don't understand, or they just hate. And when you think you know it all, we say this all the time. That's where as soon as you get to that moment, that's where you stay. With you being in the industry as long as you are, to now like doing a collab with me, I look at younger dudes that are coming up, and I don't look at that like, oh, these guys don't know what they're talking about. They ain't got no experience. No. To me, it's like, let me go over there and see what's going on, because I'm starting to see what they're doing. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, that's okay. I can see why they like it. Let me figure out grab some of that and season my style with that. And that's what I do. And I work with a lot of young talent. But then I see someone like you that's been in there for so long, and I have to learn from your experience. So I'm always picking your brain. I'm always talking and just seeing the way you cut, the way you film. Even just today, the way we filmed our videos is going to be my new way of filming now, because editing in your head is the best way to go about it. And it saves you time, headache, and money. So thank you for that, man. Real talk. Now, what are your goals for 2023? Do you have anything in mind? You just joined Babyliss this past year. How's that going for you? But what are your goals, man? Are you trying to get on the barber stage with us and do some collabs on stage?
Definitely. It's on my radar. So we want to do it for 2023.
Nice.
I want to, work with you guys. I'm on the pro side, but that doesn't mean that I can, be with you guys. Because at the end of the day, it's one company. And if we can merge, all the different talents, we can do more together as a team. Right?
I think that'll be a great idea. I mean, what we're doing now is we're bringing up all the barbers together. We're talking about the clippers. So anyone that's interested in just, like, for example, barbering, or any Cosmos that are interested in barbering are going to sit and watch us. Anyone who doesn't care is going to move. But what if we somehow merge that? Like, okay, you got one person doing a hairstyling with long hair. We got one person doing a fade. We got another person doing the curls and all that. Another one doing a pixie cut. That, to me, I feel like, even though I'm only interested in fading or barbering, when it's your turn to talk and you're talking styling, all right, well, let me learn something new. Okay, I'm learning that. Okay, a pixie cut. Oh, okay, that's how they do them. Cool. All right, back to the guy I'm here to watch. I feel like that's a good approach. Maybe not all segments, but if we could have one segment in the entire day for every show that it's a mixture of the brand,
Yeah.
I think it'll be successful. You throw me in there, you in there, Staygold, and what's her name? Polk.
Presley Pope.
Presley Pope. You throw us four, and we already did Orlando.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I was just thinking in my head, it will be a good combination. I'm like, that was literally
We
it.
already did it.
You throw us four, and we break down barbering and Cosmo the way we did in Orlando. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch this? I mean,
Great
that's just
team.
me thinking, right? I mean, do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Like,
Dennis, if you're watching this, I'm gonna send you this clip.
Yes.
Just this clip right here, this 2-minute clip. I think it'll be a great idea. It's a fusion because for years we've been trying to merge barbering and Cosmo, but for whatever reason, we're still separated at the shows.
yeah.
You know,
No,
so
I think that next year we're definitely going to do it. And I think you and I already started with that.
the
You
intro,
know, what we did.
Maybe you planted the seed today.
Yeah, what we
yeah.
did today. So, it's a little surprise, but we can definitely do it. And I'm looking forward to do more collaboration, to work with you guys. This is how I started my career as a barber. And for me, it's like coming back home. So it
Nice.
feels great. I need to practice my clipper work, of course, because I'm a little rusty. And I know that you're going to be a good mentor for me.
Oh, dude, I got
for
you.
that.
That's why I got you the Los Cut Clipper, man. We can
so
get
I
you
can
right.
start, doing my work. But also in 2023, there's a couple of things that I would like to do. I already mentioned earlier that, like, I like your hustle, right?
My
And
hustle.
your vision.
Thank you.
You know, everything that you're doing is very inspiring. It's like, wow, like we have so much in common, and I didn't know that.
Are you a
That's like-
Leo?
No, I'm a Gemini.
Oh, damn, you work hard for a Gemini. Now go ahead.
So, when I do that is what I'm looking for is to just keep pushing the bar, going to the next level. And I want to create more with you. Like we can do a vlog together, right?
Yes.
You see, your perspective of the work and the ethic and my perspective. We can combine that and create a really nice collection of videos. So I would like to put that on the map.
Oh, of
So we
course.
can do it. Let me, how you say that? Declare that.
Yeah, put it out there.
Two
Yeah.
goats can exist, coexist. Yeah.
Oh, facts. I think that'll be
Chavita.
that'll be sick. You do your editing, right?
Yeah.
You see, like, man, I gotta show you this one clip that I did. Is one episode I did my editing, so you could get kind of my style and how I do documentaries and all that. But I love you showed me the road trip you were doing, filming like that. That's what I'm into, and the closer you can get to like what is like a TV show, the better. You get what I mean? Very cinematic, very entertaining. You're learning. So
And when you see people that they're in your field, right? We're barbers, but we are learning how to do videos and learning how to editing, and like Sophie and you and all the people that I know, and also like Papi Blends, like he's doing a little bit of that as well. So it's like, wow, like-minded people. You can come together and share ideas and let's push it. I'm very selective with the people that I collaborate with, but when I found my crew, it's like now I feel.
let's go hard.
Yeah, let's go hard.
Oh, yeah.
And it took me like little time because I was working for a big company for a very long time, and there was people from different countries, and yeah, I collaborated with them in that environment. But now it's like, no, now I can go on my own and find my people and then do this.
Hell yeah.
Right? So everything before was a practice, now it's game on.
Dude.
And I feel, like super comfortable to start working with all of you and then push the bar to the next level.
And
100%.
my family's from Dallas, so I'll be in Dallas a lot,
Yeah.
like 3, 4, 5 times a year. And if I could extend that to maybe work with you for a few days and get this going, I'm with it. I know Poppy's with it, the crew's with it. We got our team here. Yeah, anything that can help us grow, I'm with it. Ruben, you with it?
Yeah, dude. Look, if y'all are doing something in Dallas,
We want you on the team.
I'm gonna be. Look, I'm gonna do comedy. If y'all going, bro, I'm gonna travel with y'all to your events, and at night I'm gonna do comedy show somewhere.
Dude, why not, right?
Y'all think I'm playing, bro? Yeah.
It's that hustle, man.
Yeah.
But dude, listen, it's been a long day. I know you tired. I'm tired. We hungry. We'll probably go get some to eat real quick. Thank you, man, for being here, bro. It really, really means a lot. I know this isn't gonna be the last time. I'm gonna see you soon. We're gonna do some cool stuff. But as far as being here on this podcast, sharing your story, hanging out with us, doing the models today, they appreciate. They actually love the hair, and I'll find out today if they really did. So I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. You know how that goes. But dude, thank you for everything. Let the world know where they can find you. Let the world know what your full IG is, and send out your final message.
Yeah. So find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Joel Torres Style. I have everything under the same name, so you can find me there. If you have any question, just go. I always respond to all the messages if the questions are good.
Yeah,
Right.
it is what it is.
Yeah, but I always respond to people. And yeah, you're gonna see a lot of content, a lot of videos, and a little bit of on the stories. You see how I see life in more artistic side, but then on the reels and the posts are gonna be more education oriented. And yeah, once again, thank you so much for the
Of course,
invitation. Yeah, I
Guys,
have a new
listen.
friend here.
Yeah.
Of course, you got all new friends,
And
everybody.
the entire team right here, like behind me.
Guys, listen.
You guys
if
did
you
an amazing job.
if you guys really, really, really want to get inspired, man, and learn and educate yourself, follow Joel Torres Styles. You have to.
Yeah.
This guy's work is dope on all platforms. Stay tuned for the next one. This was episode 12, right?
12,
That's a lucky
baby.
dozen.
12, pa' que goce.
Salute, guys. Thank you for watching. Let's go.